We have some football news, though. The Niners dumping Trey Lance to the Cowboys for a fourth-round pick. I like that Dak Prescott didn't know this was going to happen. Mike McCarthy didn't know this was going to happen. This is just Jerry Jones being Jerry Jones. I don't know what he saw in Trey Lance. They had a second-round grade for Trey Lance, from what I'm told, when he was coming out of North Dakota State. And all of a sudden, Trey Lance is now in the mix there as the backup or the backup to the backup. He got Sam Darnold came in, and Sam Darnold must have blown away the coaches running Kyle Shanahan's system that they went, man, Trey Lance is expendable because he's 23. Sam Darnold is a safer backup. You got experience, him in that system. I was listening to Brady Quinn earlier this morning on Fox Sports Radio, and Brady said if Sam Darnold gets an opportunity, they won't lose anything. If Brock Purdy gets hurt or doesn't perform, Sam Darnold will be great in Kyle Shanahan's system. And, here's Kyle, who helped RG3 win the Rookie of the Year with Washington, helped Matt Ryan win an MVP as well. That's certainly a plug and play. Just give me a guy who can sort of carry out my orders here, and we can be successful. And they found that in Brock Purdy. But Trey Lance, I think we kind of fell into maybe the habit of, oh, man, Carson Wentz was great. Easton Stick was good. Trey Lance is going to be really good with North Dakota State quarterbacks. Well, he didn't really play much. He played, one game during the COVID? He hasn't played a lot. Then he got hurt, had his opportunity, broke his ankle. So I don't know if he can play or not. But I'll go back to what I don't even know if he's a current player, who said to a friend of mine, I said, would you ask him about, Trey Lance? And they said, oh, you mean, what was it, one play Trey? That he had one play that he made, and then that's all they had seen from him. And I thought, wow, that's not a good nickname to have. That's not very nice. No, it's not. But it proved to be true. He wasn't able to grasp all the things that you needed to do to be a professional, starting quarterback, and the expectation level. So I do think it helps Trey getting out of San Francisco. I think it helps the Niners that he's not there any longer. But if you're the Cowboys, Trey Lance isn't better than Will Grier. He's not better than Cooper Rush. So you're going to bring him in, and then what happens in a year from now? Are you going to pick up his option, a fifth-year option? That'll be $29 million. And the only way that he plays, that you pick up his option, is if you move on from Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott has got a terrible team deal when it comes to if you cut him. The cap hit, they're going to have to restructure his contract because it is not team-friendly if you decide to move on. But you're bringing him in, so now you got two other quarterbacks. I watched Will Grier play the other night. I watched the re-air last night, and he looked really good. Now, I know it's preseason, but he looks good. And he's been around for a while, Florida, West Virginia, and was one of the highest-ranked quarterbacks coming out of high school. Cooper Rush played well when Dak got injured. I just don't see where Trey Lance helps you. And now he's in the building. So now it becomes, when it's a Cowboy situation, it's a bigger situation than any other team. Dak doesn't do well. What are we going to say? Hey, Trey Lance going to get a chance? This is going to come up. Nobody's going to go, oh, as Cooper Rush. Now, there was a little bit of that when he played well. Like, you know what? They might be better with Cooper Rush. Remember that conversation? And then you have the situation, with Will Grier, who is better than Trey Lance right now. Does Jerry bring Trey Lance in and then put him on the practice squad? Yes, Paulie.
Prescott will make $42 million this year with the Cowboys. The Cowboys do have an out after the season, but you said the dead cap hit is $61 million. So they don't really have an out. They would have to completely restructure him. They almost have to give him a new contract for a short term or something because
they have to restructure it.
Yes, completely.
Absolutely. But are you moving on from Dak Prescott? And is Trey Lance the guy you're going to move on to after this year? I mean, this is a team that has high expectations, Super Bowl expectations. Trey Lance, okay, you only gave up a fourth-round pick, and he's 23. I just don't like those situations in the building because it's the Cowboys, and it becomes bigger. This is going to be a main topic for the next couple of weeks here. Here's Dak Prescott on Trey Lance.
I can't say that I necessarily expected it, no. I understand that that's business. I understand that they're probably on a timeline. They need to get something done. And as I said, he felt like that strengthened his team. To be honest with you, I'm not surprised by anything anymore. You've been in this league 8 years, been on this team. It's hard to say that I was surprised, to be honest with you.
Okay. You know what? We can give the Niners credit because they got Brock Purdy, but we can blame the Niners. The Niners are so good that they made this trade and they whiffed on Trey Lance, and everybody got contract extensions in the front office and head coach, and they're still one of the 2 top Super Bowl favorites in the NFC. That's how good they've been with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. Yes, Heaton.
Yeah, that kind of thing normally costs you your job.
Yes. Yes.
And like the rate at which that costs people, it's probably like 98%.
And I remember when it happened, when the trade happened, and Paulie goes, if this doesn't work out, people are going to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
And so this is day of, they make this trade, and we're like, oh, my God, they're all in on Trey Lance. If this doesn't work out, they're going to lose. They didn't. They got contract extensions. Yes,
But nobody in Dallas is going to be calling for Trey Lance to play over Dak if things don't go right. Right? No, nobody's going to be like, that's it, sit Dak, let's see what Trey can do.
I hope they don't, because Trey Lance is only 23. He needs to sit. He needs to observe, and maybe, he gets some mop-up time or something, but he's right now the 4th best quarterback on that team.
It's so weird, though, that Trey is going to be labeled a bust and never really got the chance to play, it feels like.
But everything I was told is they weren't comfortable with him in a game. So I don't know what that you see and you go, all in on him. And you go, okay, teams all in on Carson Wentz. They were all in on Jared Goff. Mitchell Trubisky. So the Niners did okay with that, with Mitchell Trubisky. They fooled the Bears. But Dallas and Jerry Jones doesn't consult with Mike McCarthy, the head coach. He's like, we're going to bring in Trey Lance. Yeah, Paulie.
So they do some things with the worst trades in sports history, and the 49ers gave up more draft capital for Trey Lance than almost any player of all time, unless you take out Ricky Williams. They gave up 3 first.
Herschel Walker.
But those aren't 3 firsts. They gave up like full draft classes. But they gave up, San Francisco gave up 3 first-round draft choices. Remember, Miami was a recipient. You know what Miami did with those? They ended up getting Jalen Waddle with one of those draft picks. They traded for Bradley Chubb with one of those draft picks, and they traded for Tyreek Hill for one of those draft picks. Look where Miami is off those picks.
Well, if you're looking at, let's see, over 2021, 2022, 2023 drafts, the Niners traded 12th, 29th, 101st, and 29th pick for the privilege of taking Trey Lance. One of those picks was used to choose Micah Parsons.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's getting worse as you go through it.
Yeah, because sometimes where you go, I gave up some draft picks. What did they do with those draft picks? Oh, they got the best defensive player in football in Micah Parsons, or at least one of them. Yes, Marvin.
Has there ever been a team that's been this good for this long, year in, year out? They have the same question at quarterback. The 49ers, they're on like year 5 of this run, and is Jimmy G the guy? Oh, they get to the Super Bowl. Do we want to trade Jimmy G? And then they draft the 3rd pick after going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but that I think proves Kyle Shanahan's ability to whoever you have, just give me that guy. I promise you, Sam Darnold would be just as good as Brock Purdy in this system. I truly believe that. Doesn't mean that he'd be a starter anyplace else, but with Kyle Shanahan, it feels like you're taking your first steps, but he's right there with his hands. I'll get you. I'll get you where you need to go. Jimmy Garoppolo, all he does is win. Nobody talked about how great he was. It was just he wins. Well, he wins because he knew what to do. Kyle Shanahan knew what to do with Jimmy G. Yes, Mark.
The Niners quarterback kind of feels like the NFL equivalent of the Alabama quarterback.
Oh,
maybe 10 or 12 years ago. Yes.
Yeah. So you could put in Greg McElroy, A.J. McCarron,
Blake Sims.
You'd be like, all right, we're okay. Yeah, Paulie.
Yeah, the Niners could have stayed right where they were and picked up Justin Fields. Imagine that roster. Now, Justin Fields isn't a superstar yet, but imagine a guy like him who's definitely better than Trey Lance, and you wouldn't have given up any picks.
Yeah.
And with Kyle Shanahan and that offense, Justin Fields would be, in much better shape for a career.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know if he has the skill level to play quarterback for what Kyle Shanahan needs. I do think that Trey Lance had that ability, that run-pass option, and that's what made him so valuable. He never threw an interception at North Dakota State, but I think what happens is North Dakota State is so good in by comparison that your Easton Stick looked great for North Dakota State. I think he's still in the NFL. Carson Wentz is trying to be a backup somewhere in the NFL. But I think we got caught up in 30 touchdown passes, no interceptions. Man, he looks great. And by all accounts, a great kid. That's what, like you could hear that with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. Like they felt bad that they gave up on him. It became personal for them. Now, he's not a troubled quarterback. I don't think he's ready for this. And I don't know if he ever will. But at age 23, Dallas takes a chance. It becomes bigger because it's down. If he had gone some other place, throw out another team. If he had gone to Arizona right now, we'd probably go, well, maybe you move on from Kyle. Maybe bring him in. Maybe he could play. It feels like Arizona's going to get 2 shots to get the number 1 pick in the draft. They have Houston's pick, and they're probably hoping, man, start C.J. Stroud. Lose games because we get your pick, and then they get their pick. And Caleb Williams looked pretty good against San Jose State right out of the gate. Him against the field for the Heisman. We're taking the field.
Yes. As a group?
Yeah, I think we're taking the field.
Want to call it in?
Yeah. No game.
Smart money.
Yeah, smart money's down on that. Yeah. Yes, Mark.
Yeah, there's somebody from Baylor or Ole Miss that's going to take it this year.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, that's September Heisman. Sept Heisman.